People don't pay for your credentials. They pay for how they feel when they are around you. That may seem surprising, but it is an unspoken truth. Schools don't teach us how to embrace our inner authority. Instead, we're conditioned to seek approval, collect qualifications, and pursue legitimacy. Yet many of the most influential voices in history had none of these things. They didn't wait for approval. They embodied it. They spoke from authenticity rather than instruction, and people valued them not for formal qualifications, but for their genuine presence. Have you ever felt someone's presence impact you more than their titles or achievements? Comment 1, if you've been moved by authenticity over credentials. Comment 2, if you still find yourself valuing qualifications first. In the UAE, you can see this reflected in the traditional Majlis gatherings. There, genuine presence, heartfelt words, and attentive listening often matter more than academic titles. Trust and influence are earned through sincerity and wisdom, not credentials. Carl Jung, one of psychology's greatest thinkers, spoke of archetypes, timeless patterns within every human being. They aren't earned, they are embodied, and that changes everything. In this discussion, I want to show you how to step into that power, how people will pay you for your truth, even if you lack formal education or professional titles. Stay with me until the end, because I'll explain how your personal story becomes your credibility and why it outweighs any certificate. I'll also reveal the unconscious belief that prevents people from charging for their gifts and how to transform it. Let's begin with a tough reality. People no longer pay for information. It's already abundant and easily accessible. What they invest in today is transformation. They pay to feel recognized, supported, and deeply understood. They pay to experience an inner shift. Transformation isn't about credentials. It's about clarity, authenticity, and emotional impact. That's what inspires people to pay. Not formal qualifications, but the ability to evoke something genuine within them. This is also visible in the UAE's economy. People don't only spend on services or products. They invest heavily in experiences, from wellness retreats in Dubai to mindfulness workshops and cultural arts events. The value lies in emotional transformation, not just in tangible offerings. A 25-year-old who has overcome anxiety and learned self-regulation could be paid thousands by a 45-year-old executive seeking the same results. Why? Because transformation isn't tied to age, career, or social status. It's grounded in truth and personal experience. Yet many people conceal their truth, believing they aren't ready, asking themselves, "Who am I to charge?" Jung would call this the wounded ego, the shadow self. Without healing that and claiming your worth, no business strategy or pricing system can help. People sense your energy before they hear your words. That is the key. Energy comes before evidence. People can detect if you feel ashamed of charging, or if you are secretly waiting for permission to be validated. The unconscious always perceives what the ego attempts to mask. When you fully embody your message and your voice carries the vibration of truth, it produces an undeniable resonance. That resonance is what people trust, and ultimately what they pay for. Think about a time when you trusted someone, not because of their resume, but because of how they made you feel. Comment 1 if you've experienced this kind of resonance. Comment 2 if you're still learning to recognize it. So, if you're asking yourself, but how do I actually get people to pay me? How do I be seen as an authority without pretending? That's a good sign. It means you're on the verge of a profound shift. Next, we'll uncover the mindset change that transforms your personal story into your magnet and reveal how to identify your archetype so you no longer wait for external validation. Now let me ask you this, not aloud, but within yourself. Have you ever been with someone who lacked impressive titles, yet something about their presence, their story, their sincerity drew you in? It struck you deeply. That is the power of embodied truth, and it is what people truly invest in. Let's settle this clearly. Your story is your certification. Every struggle, heartbreak, exhaustion, collapse, revelation, healing, and late-night reflection has meaning. Jung described this as the individuation process, the journey of becoming your true self beyond all disguises. When lived with awareness, that path becomes healing for others. But here's the paradox. Most people deny their own medicine. They view their past as a burden rather than a credential. They conceal the very aspects that make them human. That is the real mistake, because trust today is not built on polish, but on presence. Consider this example. Two individuals offer the same service. One claims, "I have a certificate from XYZ Academy. I completed 48 hours of training." The other says, "I've endured this pain. I've traveled the path you're on. I've healed, and I'm here to walk alongside you." Which one do you trust more? The first may capture your attention, but the second captures your heart. In the UAE, business relationships are also built on authenticity. An entrepreneur may not have studied at a prestigious Western university, but if they demonstrate perseverance, honesty, and commitment, values deeply tied to Islamic and Emirati culture, they will still be respected and supported by the community. We're not seeking robots. We're seeking resonance. We are naturally drawn to those who have endured the fire and returned with stories that mirror our own. That's why Jung said, "We don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Your value lies not in training, but in transformation. Emotional credibility comes not from polished speeches or flawless branding, but from being a mirror for others. This is where many go wrong. They believe credibility is about appearances, dressing a certain way, speaking like a motivational coach, or pretending until it feels real. But that approach comes from the head, not from authentic truth. Here's what I want you to hold on to. Your pain is not a weakness. It is your gateway. Your struggles are not flaws. They are magnets. Your story is not secondary. It is your strength. The real question is, are you embracing it, or are you still reshaping your life just to appear professional? Next, we'll go deeper, exploring why archetypes outweigh credentials and how to embody the energy of the wise guide, healer, or rebel so that people sense your authority before you speak. But before moving forward, ask yourself, if I honored my story as sacred, how would I show up differently? Reflect on that, because the answers already lie within you. Now let's go further. There's something rarely spoken of in business circles, yet deeply understood in the realm of the soul. The true life changers, those who ignite genuine transformation, are not necessarily the most educated. They are the ones who have integrated their truth. Jung called them living archetypes. They don't perform roles, they embody energies. They appear as the wise guide, the healer, the rebel, the mentor, or even the alchemist. That energetic presence speaks more powerfully than any sales pitch. They don't need to prove authority. They embody it. Here's the secret. People may not consciously pay for this, but their unconscious does. The unconscious, yours, mine, your future clients, responds to frequency, emotion, and archetypes. That's why someone might say, "I don't know why, but I just felt I had to work with you." That is resonance in action, and that is what money follows. So, let me ask, what archetype are you avoiding? Were you shaped to be a healer, but hesitate to embrace it because you lack a medical degree? Have you always carried a rebellious spirit, challenging the system, but quiet it to seem respectable? Do others seek you for clarity, reflection, or peace? Yet you still ask yourself, who am I to charge for this? Jung described this as the unintegrated self, the part of you aware of your strength, but not yet confident in it. Once you fully embrace your archetype without apology, something transformative takes place. You stop needing to sell or perform. Instead, you naturally attract others because authenticity is what people crave. Society longs for genuine connection, and the greatest gift you can provide is your unfiltered, complete self. Each archetype has the capacity to generate income. Wealth is not exclusive to strategists, salespeople, or digital entrepreneurs. Money naturally follows value, and every archetype contributes value uniquely. So if you've ever believed, "I'm only creative," or "I'm spiritual but not business-oriented," or "I prefer supporting others, I'm not a leader," pause. You are not just anything. You embody an archetype built to create impact, and indeed, to earn income. Here's how. 1. The healer. You don't have to be a therapist to embody this role. Simply your presence can be healing. Healers are compensated for holding space, whether as coaches, energy practitioners, grief counselors, or breathwork facilitators. Your value lies in guiding people back to themselves, and many are willing to pay for that sense of emotional security. 2. The rebel. You are the challenger of systems, the one who spots flaws before others do. Rebels generate income by innovating, creating what hasn't been built yet, whether through podcasts, movements, disruptive products, or bold content. As the voice declaring "no more" while constructing alternatives, you attract investment because people trust rebels to lead change. 3. The wise guide, sage. You embody clarity and provide truths that cut through distractions. Your income arises from simplifying complexity, sharing frameworks, philosophies, or mentorship. Whether through YouTube, books, courses, or communities, people are willing to invest in your insights because you help them find meaning and direction in life. 4. The lover, empath. You lead with compassion and deep care. Your value lies in emotional presence, whether in relationships, parenting, or personal growth. You guide others through vulnerable moments with tenderness. In a world desperate for gentleness, people are willing to pay to feel safe, acknowledged, and comforted. 5. The creator, artist. Your role extends beyond producing art. You channel soul into your work. Creators earn through forms like visual art, storytelling, music, design, and intuitive branding. You awaken aliveness in others, which holds immense value. Beauty has the power to heal, and it also has the power to sell. 6. The alchemist/mystic. You bridge the visible and invisible realms. Whether as a spiritual teacher, intuitive coach, or tarot reader, you create income by converting energy into understanding. You give form to the mysterious through rituals, ceremonies, and spiritual frameworks. Spiritual work has legitimate worth. Transformation, even if intangible, holds real value. The message is clear. Earning doesn't require becoming someone different. It requires fully embracing who you already are. Every archetype carries a unique route to prosperity, accessible only when you stop rejecting your true design. Once you embody it without apology, those you serve will recognize in you not an expert, guru, or checklist, but a reflection of themselves. Which archetype resonates with you most? The healer, the rebel, the wise guide, the lover, the creator, or the mystic? Comment 1 if you've already identified with one. Comment 2 if you're still exploring where you fit. And the impact extends further. This is not solely about financial gain. It is about transforming the world. When you live your truth rather than merely speak or promote it, you grant others permission to embrace theirs. This echoes Jung's words. The most dangerous thing is the unlived life. Suppressing our gifts sustains a culture of numbness, exhaustion, and disconnection. But embracing your archetype wholeheartedly turns you into a living invitation for healing. You embody potential and shift collective consciousness, not by delivering information, but through your energetic presence. This is how genuine change occurs, not by advancing through hierarchies or gathering accolades, but by declaring, "This is who I am. This is what I've lived, and I share it with love." And yes, people will pay, not through manipulation, but because you awaken authenticity within them. Now we arrive at the final internal barrier that prevents many from embracing this truth: their relationship with money. Unfortunately, Most of us have been conditioned to believe that being compensated for our gifts is selfish, that serving others must involve sacrifice, and that receiving is less spiritual than giving. Such beliefs leave the most heart-driven people struggling, exhausted, and resentful. Let's break this down and rebuild your sense of worth from within. Here's the hidden truth about walking a path of service, spirituality, or healing. If deep down you think asking for payment makes you greedy, if you feel guilty when others compensate you, or if you tense up each time you state your fees, people will notice. It's not about the words you say. It's because energy never deceives. As Jung observed, the unconscious is always communicating, even when the mouth is not. If you harbor unresolved shame about being compensated, it seeps into your body language, tone, marketing, boundaries, and ability to receive. Others pick up on that energy unconsciously. Some reflect your doubt, while others simply withdraw. Let's call out the root issue. Many of us were raised in systems teaching us to do good, but don't earn from it, to be humble instead of wealthy, to see money as something for business people, not for us, and to believe spiritual work should always be free. But these are not ultimate truths. They are inherited narratives created by systems that thrive when powerful, intuitive, heart-led individuals remain small. In the UAE context, the belief that serving the community should always mean sacrifice was once common. Yet today, society increasingly recognizes that when heart-led individuals are fairly rewarded, they can give more, sustain their impact, and contribute to building the UAE's knowledge and creative economy. Now, let's rewrite the story. Picture this. Every time someone pays you, it is not just a transaction, it is a transformation. They are investing in their own expansion, honoring their personal growth, and committing to healing. Through your gifts, you serve as the mirror reflecting their journey back to themselves. Accepting money with integrity is not about taking. It is about circulating energy and keeping it flowing. By letting your own cup be filled, you can continue giving to others sustainably. But if you cannot meet your basic needs while being expected to help others heal, resentment, fatigue, and disconnection from your gift will follow, and that helps no one. Yet when you are supported, your needs met, your work honored, your value recognized, you radiate more brightly. You create with greater depth and give from a place of abundance rather than duty. This is what transforms communities, builds healing economies, and makes heart-centered entrepreneurship revolutionary. This journey is not about pursuing money for its own sake. It's about aligning your energy so that money naturally extends from your purpose. Now ask yourself, which outdated belief about money are you prepared to release? What new truth are you ready to embody? Here's the shift in perspective. Being paid for your gifts is not selfish, it is sacred. Earning through your soul's work is not impure, it is divine. Your worth is not negotiable, it is built into your very being. You don't need to hustle or plead. You simply need to stop apologizing for existing. If this message resonates with your spirit, share it with someone still waiting for permission. Post this affirmation in the comments. I am ready to be paid for being fully myself. Or create your own, something that feels deeply true in your body, and something your future self will thank you for declaring today. If you're ready to continue growing and engaging with transformative, soul-based content, subscribe to our channel. This space exists for awakening, embracing your truth, and rewriting the narrative of worth and value from within. The world doesn't need more polished professionals. It needs more people who remember their essence and charge in alignment with it. You are worthy of visibility, of support, and of compensation. Step into who you truly are. The world is waiting for you. Are you ready to honor your worth without apology? Comment 1 if you feel prepared to claim your story and your value. Comment 2 if you're still working on letting go of old beliefs.